So people are always asking me how the Tacoma is on road and driving, and it's actually very normal. You know, if you ever drove a solid axle vehicle before, you know, you pretty much know your parameters and your limits, and you know, I kind of don't. It was the other night following a certain Mini Cooper. I might have lost the back end a little bit, but you know, I'm used to driving. I've not, you know, a bunch of Mustang Fox bodies. I had a '69 Camaro. I've a ton of Jeeps, so I'm a rear-wheel drive guy. I've only owned a couple of front-wheel drive cars, like my Mini Cooper, but you know, you're not hanging with a Mini Cooper with a Tacoma solid axle swap, that's for sure. But you know, for the most part, it's a normal driving vehicle. So I figured, let me get a video of just how it drives. I'm about to get on the Parkway, excuse me, and you know, you'll see how it drives. I mean, it's perfectly fine. I'm going to pick up my 38-inch Milestar Patagonias from my friend, and we're going to go from the 35s to the 38s when I order rims, because I have to order 17-inch rims, beadlocks. So get that over with. And yeah, even on my stock 456 gearing with my 4-cylinder, we're going to run 38s. For now, with my automatic, you know, until I can re-gear it lower, which I'm only going to go to 488s on these axles, and probably the next axles too. If I break something, I just got OX U-joints in the front, and I have my rear axle rebuilt and stuff. If I break something, we'll replace it. So, but you know, now I'm going to have the option to air down to, you know, almost nothing. But you know, with the beadlocks, I won't have to worry. And on 38s, it'll be nice and soft. And in low range, it really don't matter too much, you know, how low your gears are. It does help. I mean, I do have 456s. It's not the highest gears in the world, but it is what they come with. And I made a big mistake of doing that. I should have just re-geared it from the beginning. Like, I should have did everything from the beginning, like put a Dana 60 in it. But like I said, we're going to take a nice drive. And look, as you can tell already, it's, you know, it's a normal vehicle. It's a little tall, and it's getting taller with the 38s. I just, God, I have such a bad back and neck, and I'm currently in therapy for it and everything. And well, in between therapy right now. I've found a new therapist. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm in physical therapy and going to pain management now, so I'm trying to get my body on track and be able to move again, because rock crawling definitely beats the living crap out of me, you know. But as you can tell, yeah, she stops. I got Chevy K10 front brakes because I have a hybrid Dana 30 high pinion with fully sleeved tubes and a drop-in locker for now, like I said. And I also have the outers are from we say 85 Chevy K10, so I have 6 lug on a Dana 30 with outers from a Chevy truck. It's a hybrid axle that my friend TJ built. So, but you know what? I mean, this lightweight setup, because my front axle is only probably a little over 200 pounds, as opposed to a Dana 60 that's like, you know, 500 pounds. So I'm not pushing that weight in the front, but it also, like we found out last trip, is my Tacoma, my truck, is too light. My friend Mike, he has a Jeep, tons, and 42s, a freaking beautiful rig, and a LS swap, and his truck, his Jeep's a little too light. I mean, a little too heavy. So, like, I need to find a good balance here and actually put some cargo in the rear. But I'm heading to Massapequa right now, and you'll see me merging on the highway and everything. Because I've actually had people tell me there's no way I'm rolling on 35s with factory gears and an automatic. I am here to tell you, I have drove this thing for, it's probably 5,000 miles now. I have had absolutely, really no issues, except when I hit really steep hills. If I don't have my momentum going, I bog out a little bit. It will drop 30 miles per hour like a bad habit. It's pretty crazy, you know. So, and I'm getting freaking cock blocked over here, but yeah. So I mean, she drives normal. I mean, on the 35s, they're not the biggest tire in the world, but they're not small tires by any means. And the 38s is going to be like a freaking slug. But as you'll be able to tell in a second, I can merge. I can merge fine. I live on an island. For an island, the truck is fine. Going through the Allegheny Mountains a few months ago, just visit my friend Andy and Steve, it was, you know, it was a little bit of a struggle here and there, but I was maintaining 70, 80, even 90 miles per hour, to the point where my flare flew off the truck because I was going so fast that it was loose, and I actually, you know, I might have rubbed it up against a tree, but, you know, that's another story. But yeah, like as you can see, I'm doing about 60 right now. I have a speedometer correction, but I can hang. I mean, this truck, it drives normal, man. I mean, I don't have slop in my steering thanks to the 3/4 Heim steering from Rough Stuff Specialties. I mean, she's a solid rig. I can take my hands off the wheel. I have a Yoda Master steering box and an 8-inch PSC ramp. Sorry about the wind noise, smoking. But you know, for the most part, it's a normal, everyday vehicle. Like I was just telling one of the guys on YouTube there, who has a solid axle swap V6 Tacoma, you know, and he's running 529s and tons, and he's got 40-inch tires, and he's perfectly fine, you know. So these vehicles are just, they're just good vehicles. But we were just talking about just like leaving the truck, you know, as a pickup truck, as opposed to, you know, bobbing it and taking the bed off. And see, I got to even pass people sometimes, you know, then they speed up, of course. But yeah, that's funny when they do that. Some idiot from Maryland. But, you know, I'm in the left lane passing at about, you know, whatever, 60 miles per hour. It likes going downhill, I'm not going to lie. But for the most part, this is a very normal vehicle, you know, and I have free spin hubs, so when I broke my axle off-road, I was able to just unlock my hub. I could have even went on with the day and had three-wheel drive, but I didn't because I didn't want to push it. But most part, it doesn't push out of corners really bad, because my front axle is moved up about a foot. I mean, it's up there. It's got to be at least 8 inches forward from the IFS. You know, because that's how the trail gear kit does it with the leaf springs. And that's another thing, I am on leaf springs. I am not on coils. I am on bumpy New York, horrible roads where they just throw you all over the place. And as you can tell by the video, she's fine. When I go out of state, like I was in Connecticut the other day, it was actually driving awesome on the nice flat Connecticut roads and hills. I loved it. I love driving my truck. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do. Riding my motorcycle, driving my truck, especially out of state, out of the area. I don't mind staying in New York State. I just, Long Island, Brooklyn, Queens, you know, it's a rat race, and everyone's trying to get everywhere, and no one's moving. And it's just a pain in the ass place to drive, very congested. Horrible place, actually. And wish I could move, but I'm stuck here. My family's here. I'm not leaving them. As you can tell, they see a cop, they slam on the brakes. Just stupidity going on here. People go slower in the left lane than they go in the right lane. I actually got pulled over the other day for speeding, and I got patted down as soon as he made me get out of the truck because he said he couldn't see in. The cop was all of 5'3". And all right, I was like, okay, man, I'll get out. And I told him, I said, as far as speeding, I was like, what was I doing, 35? You know? I told him it was the world's slowest truck. But yeah, a lot of people asking about how it drives. Hands off the wheel right now, driving perfectly pin straight. The way I have, the way that the 4x4 plates set my steering up with the Rough Stuff Specialties, I cannot come out of alignment. See, I'm pushing into a curve here, perfectly fine. You know, 60 mile per hour curve, maybe a little bit over. I can't look at the GPS right now. But yeah, I mean, she's a normal truck, man. Kind of drives like it's kind of like a long YJ with soft springs. Because I actually have these, I have blocks in the back. I'm actually running a 2-inch block for now until I can get like Alcoa or somebody to build me some good springs. But yeah, I mean, yeah, she's good. I mean, I highly recommend the solid axle swap to people. Go with a Toyota axle, go with anything you want. You know, I bought the Any kit, Any axle, and I'm really happy with my little front axle. I kind of wish I would have did from the start a Dana 60 narrow to match my rear, just for now, because I'd like to change the rear eventually too. But as far as the 4-cylinder goes, I mean, it's such a great motor. I mean, you really can't ask for anything else except for a little more power, which eventually I would like to get the supercharger from LC Engineering. That would be sweet. But yeah, like, look, taking a late turn, like, you know, not curving into it, apexing it or anything, and it's perfectly fine. Matter of fact, most people go, how much lift does that truck have? And I'm like, it has no lift, it's a solid axle swap. And then you have to explain to people, even people who've owned Toyotas for their whole lives, and Toyota trucks, how it has a solid axle as opposed to an independent front suspension, which I left in literally in a dumpster in New Jersey. So, but yeah, look, like changing lanes, absolutely not a problem, doesn't sweep. Drives a lot better than a lot of my Jeeps I've had with coils. So, you know, you can't ask for anything more for what I'm running. But I'm very happy. I honestly, my truck's not the greatest truck in the world, just happened to come out like a good looking truck. Wasn't what I was shooting for. I was actually shooting for a function over everything, you know, and being able to function on and off road. I put 800-pound motorcycles in the back. I haul around bikes and winch them right into the bed. They're fine. You know, I've actually drove around for days with a Harley-Davidson Road King in the back, a couple Hondas in the back, KZ1000, a couple Dynas, a couple Sportsters. So, you know, she does what I ask her to do, and that's awesome, you know. At slow speeds, it's perfectly fine. High speeds, it's perfectly fine. I've had it up to 100, you know, in Mexico, and, you know, pretty close to 100. I actually think I did break 100 the last trip out to Mexico, and that was in the hills and everything, and she was pulling, man. I mean, I gotta floor it, and when I do these 38s, it's gonna be like blah, but it just gives me an excuse to do another upgrade. So it is what it is, you know. You just I did not set the truck up for 35-inch tires. I set the truck up for 37-inch tires. I just happened to be getting from my friend 38 by 1350 Milestar Patagonias, you know, same tires I have, but just bigger. I just happen to be getting them in 38. So if they were 37s, I'd be a little happier, but I can't complain for the deal I'm getting. And I'll just replace them as I go. One of them is brand new. The other 4 have like 50% tread on them. Like I said, I can't complain right now. You know, tires are very expensive. We're talking about thousands of dollars worth of tires. I'm going to be selling my 35s on the rims, mounted and balanced. They're going to be going for no less than $1,200 because I need to buy the beadlock wheels. And that's a superb deal for someone. If you got a 6-lug Chevy, if you got a Toyota, you got a set of rims and tires mounted and balanced, ready to go, slap them on your truck, drive. And my tires are at about 75% tread, and my spare is brand new. So, with that being said, I will definitely be doing a video when I get my heavy-ass steel beadlocks and my 38-inch tires, and I put 400 pounds in each corner. I don't even know how much they weigh, but it's going to be a lot, you know. It's going to be hundreds of pounds on each corner on little axles with the wrong gears and an automatic. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, man, you know. I did not set this truck up to run the same tires I was running when I had IFS. You know, I just happen to have these tires, and they're not small. I've off-roaded on them, but I don't have beadlocks, so I can't air down to the point I want to. When I run a beadlock rim, I'll be running 5 PSI on 38s. It'll be a lot easier on my body, a lot easier on the suspension. A lot of people had suggested in my video where I broke the axle that to air down. I did. I think I was actually down to about like 12 PSI, but that's not enough, you know, especially you know, without having a bead lock and being able to lose a bead on a wheel. Just not something I want to happen when I'm off-road. So locking the rim to the tire with a bead lock and a 38 at, you know, whatever, 3 to 5 PSI, it's gonna be nice. I mean, this thing's already tall as hell. I can look down into people's cars. Like, you see the stock 4Runner next to me. I'm about, probably overall about 1.5 foot taller than him. And those have a high roof line, that's why. But yeah, so welcome to Long Island, and welcome to my Tacoma SAS swap video I've been looking to do for a while, especially being that it is the only one that I know of in Long Island. There is one other guy in out in Mastic in Long Island, out east, and he has a 4Runner with a Toyota axle, and I think he's on like 37s, and a really nice job he did. I think he did coils. I wanted to do them, but that shit's expensive. This was probably a few $1,000s cheaper, and I like leaf springs. I have absolutely no problem with leaf springs. I don't think anybody should, man. They're just great. They work, as if people like people say. Leaf springs, they work. Look at this menagerie in front of me. You know, it could be worse. I could be driving that. I like that pickup truck, though. It's a cool little step side F-150. Definitely got more power than me. He's got dual exhaust. You know, we all know dual exhaust equals at least 100 horsepower. But yeah, she is what she is. She ain't a show truck. She's just my truck. And that concludes how she drives test. Later, guys.